Hey, what's going on, guys? Alex here with TFL Off-Road, and I'm here on the trail in Tennessee with the all-new 2022 Honda Pioneer 1000. Two new editions here. We have the Trail Edition right here, which is kind of your sporty, go fun having machine, and then we've also got the Forest Edition, which is made for hunters, a little bit more work-oriented. So yeah, let's get these out on the trail, see what they're all about. Let's jump right into the full review. All right, we are on the trail in the all-new 2022 Honda Pioneer 1000. This is the Trail Edition, one of the two new special editions Honda has for this year. The other one's the Forest Edition, and we'll get behind the wheel of that in a little bit. But first, we're going to enjoy this trail on this pretty dusty, pretty muddy, tight technical trail. We're out here in Pioneer, Tennessee, funny enough. Pretty clever for Honda to have the event here. Oh man, this trail's a little technical. So the Pioneer 1000 is Honda's big, powerful work and play machine. It has their 999cc parallel twin Unicam engine, which has been revised slightly for this year. Honda says it is quicker to accelerate now. But previously you had the Deluxe and the Standard models, and now you have this Trail Edition. This is made for the person who wants to go out and have fun on the trails. So key features on this: you get a Warn winch up front, you get some cool graphics, but most importantly, I think you get the Fox quick switch shocks. No settings up here in the cab. You got to actually get down to the shock, switch those clickers, but definitely what you want if you're out on the trail having fun with some spirited driving. The thing is, with these work and play machines, they're small enough that you can really take them on a technical trail like this, and you don't have this crazy long, crazy wide machine that you're pinstriping everywhere and worried about taking branches out. You don't have to get out of the machine and cut trees down to get through. Approach and departure angles are really good on this. You can see this machine in front of me. The rear wheels are like right at the back of the vehicle, so departure angle's great. And yeah, I just like having a machine like this that you've got a bed on the back you can use for actual work. It's small enough and nimble enough to take on a pretty technical trail like this, and it's dual purpose. The Pioneer 1000 is Honda's work and play side-by-side. It's powered by a 999cc parallel twin, and all the machines here today are the 1000-5, which means they're 5-seaters. So you have 3-person seating across up front and then 2 in the back. And this is a convertible bed setup, so you can fold these seats down and it makes for a flat load floor, and the bed can hold up to 1,000 pounds when the seats are folded down. It's also a dump bed, so you can load it up with whatever you need and dump your cargo when you're done with it. The engine is the same in these two machines. It's definitely a sporty one and it's fun to drive, but the Trail Edition looks a little sportier with the paint scheme they have on it, with the gloss black, lots of metallic in the paint, and the red and black striping. The Forest Edition, definitely just as fun to drive as the Trail Edition, but a very different graphics pack with the camo they have. So the Forest Edition, clearly made for hunters, and the Trail Edition is more for the sport enthusiast. A little bit of a gnarly rock climb here. Let's see what it does. Whew. Hit a little hard there. So this Pioneer has Honda's i4-wheel drive system. I've got this lever right here with 3 modes: 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, and then a turf mode, so you don't tear up the lawn when you're driving around on your property. And that's a little different from the Standard model and the Deluxe model that have a true selectable diff lock. In this, instead, I'm just leaving it in 4-wheel drive all day, and basically figures out the rest for me. It just clears up your mind a little bit. One less thing to think about, and the vehicle should just take care of everything by itself when it needs to. Got a little bit of a rocky hill climb here. See if we can navigate it a little better than the first time. Oh yeah, super easy. So this Pioneer has a 6-speed dual clutch transmission, which is a little bit unique for the industry. A lot of the competition is using a CVT, and I really like this transmission. It's pretty predictable, does what you think it's going to. It's not too jerky. And usually it's in whatever gear I would have selected myself. You do also have paddle shifters here, which you can use whenever. You don't need to be in a certain mode, so you can manually go through the gears. Hit the paddle down again. So yeah, very simple to use. The paddles don't turn with the wheel either, which I like, so they're always in the same spot. You know exactly where they're going to be. And you do have a couple different drive modes as well. One of those is sport mode, so you tap into that. Sport icon comes up here, and that'll just hold on to the gears a little longer, keep the RPMs a little higher, which obviously makes for a little bit more fun driving. Now, before we go into what you get with these special editions, I want to go through some of the changes made to the Pioneer 1000 for this year that carry across all the different trims. First of all, this engine is now making a bit more power, it has revised gear ratios, and Honda says it's now quicker to accelerate, which is always good to see. Also, the interior is revised, there's a new instrument panel that gives more information, but they also reworked some of the storage areas to be a little bit bigger so you can fit more of your stuff. The grille and front end styling have been tweaked, and there's a new power steering setup that has a return to center function that Honda's pretty proud of, and that just makes it easier to get the machine straightened out when coming out of a turn. Also for this year, the fuse box has been redesigned. You can see all the accessory ports are very easy to access, and Honda says this is one of the biggest complaints they had with the old model, so they wanted to make it much easier for you to add your own accessories. Also, a couple more things I really like. First of all is this gated shifter right here. We have a mule at work right now up at the ranch, and that has a straight up and down shifter, and it works fine, but sometimes you have to double check, make sure you're in the right gear. This is just a lot simpler to use. When you put it in high, you know you're in high. And that's where I've been all day. I haven't needed to use low at all. And also another thing I really like, especially with this DCT, is the gear indicator up on the dash. Right now it's just showing an H because I'm in high, but if I hit the paddle once, it shows them in first gear now. Goes back to high if I don't touch the paddles for too long because it's back in its auto setting, but if I'm using the paddles, it'll show me exactly what gear I'm in, which is really cool. I like that they're giving you all that info. Off-road enthusiasts and truck people, side-by-side people, we like info, so I like that Honda's not hiding anything from us. They're telling us what gear we're in. Okay, so let's go through the differences between these two models. We'll start with the Trail Edition, and the biggest one is going to be the suspension. You have Fox Quick Switch 3 shocks with remote reservoirs, and you can make adjustments on all four corners, which is a major step up over the much more basic suspension you get on the Forest Edition. You also get a rear view mirror on the interior, a worn 4,500 pound winch, and these aluminum wheels that have these contrast silver cuts in them, which I think just makes the whole vehicle pop. And on the inside, you'll find LED lighting by the footwell. Both of these machines do have some add-ons that won't come from the factory, like the light bar, the front windscreen, and the roof, but on the Trail, the main selling point is the Fox suspension. Now moving over to the Forest Edition, a little bit of a different setup, although you do get a lot of the same bits. So the same winch up front, power outlet in the bed, interior lighting, rear view mirror, just like the Trail Edition, but there's a few differences that you do get on this Forest Edition, which is going to be a front bumper guard, LED lighting in the bed, and then the big one, self-leveling rear suspension, which is going to be a key feature for hunters. Alright, well, it is now after lunch. Just hopped out of the Trail Edition, and now we're jumping into the Forest Edition. As you can see, this one is more of your work, hunting machine. You can tell that by the camo job that's on it, as opposed to the more sporty red, silver, and black that's on the Trail Edition. So let's get this out on the trail and see what it's like. Still a work and play machine, but the Trail Edition kind of veers off to the side of play a little more than work, and this Forest Edition hangs a little more to the work side of things. You know, you can feel that it doesn't have quite the travel the other machine have. It's not quite as plush going over these rocks as the other machine, but you still have a very powerful parallel twin engine, so you can still get into it and have a lot of fun. You still have sport mode, so you're not missing a whole lot with this.
hard, man. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, look, you guys, you got the dash and everything.
Yeah, we got all kinds of muddy. Yeah, got just a little bit mud covered going through that last crossing. So the suspension on this Forest Edition is fine. I'm getting through the trail. It's keeping up, it's doing just fine. But it wasn't until I got out of the trail and into this that I realized how good the suspension on the Trail Edition is. That Fox suspension really soaks up all the rocks really nicely. When you're going a little higher speed, it's not as noticeable, but on the really slow speed stuff over some of these rocks, it's really nice having the more premium suspension. Got some pretty deep ruts here, but even when you kind of fall into them a little bit, climbs right out, no problem. Nice and easy. We are not being nice to these machines today, guys. Honda's having us beat them up pretty good, and they can take it. They just keep on going. I've slammed down on a couple big rocks. Made some loud bangs, but no issues, no trail damage, no breakdowns on any of these machines today. And yeah, it's just pretty incredible that you can buy a machine like this right around 20 grand, and it's super capable, can do all the work you need it to do, but you can still have a blast on it, and you're really not missing too much. I don't really wish I was in a Talon on this trail. This trail is so technical that the extra speed and power you'd get out of that kind of a machine, you just wouldn't put it to good use here. So all in all, this Pioneer gets 2 big thumbs up for me. This is also a really easy machine to drive. I talked about the size of it earlier, which obviously makes it easy, but also throttle's easy to modulate. Very predictable, and the steering's really light, pretty boosted. This has really everything you need to be a practical and capable work and play machine. You need 3 things to make a machine like that. It needs to be fun, which, yeah, obviously it is. It needs to be comfortable. I'm coming up on about 2 hours in this machine right now. The seats are great. No issues with the seats whatsoever. You got big cup holders in here, hold all your drinks. The one thing I will say, probably could use a little more foot room down by my left foot. There is a footrest, but it's pretty high up. I'm not the tallest guy in the world, so it doesn't bother me at 5'10", but you get someone like Andre or Roman in here, they might be asking for a little more legroom, especially because the seat doesn't adjust forward and backward. You do have a tilt steering wheel though. So we have the fun, we have the comfort, but the capability is also there. This has a 2-inch receiver out back. It can tow 2,500 pounds, which is about 25% increase when you compare this to last year's Pioneer. And just like a lot of the competition, it also has a dumping cargo bed with their quick flip seats. So right now, these are all 5-seaters out on the trail, but most of them are set up in a 2-seat configuration right now. But you can change that up and change the bed into seating, carry the whole family with you, carry your friends with you, and then convert it right back to a bed. And it's a dumping tilt cargo bed as well, so load it up with soil or firewood or whatever, and you can dump it out the back when you get where you're going.
The base model of the Pioneer starts at $16,700. If you want to jump up to one of these 2 special editions, they're priced exactly the same. For the 3-seater, that's $20,100, and for the 5-seater, $21,500. So there is a little bit of a price jump to get these premium models, but I really enjoyed the suspension on the Trail Edition. I'm not a hunter, but if I was, I'm sure I would have been all over the Forest Edition too. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. In the meantime, I'm going to try and get one of these for us to test up at Tumbleweed Ranch so we can make some comparisons to the Kawasaki Mule we have. And as always, head on over to alltfl.com so you don't miss any side-by-side news and reviews. See you in the next one.